deliberation session. At this point, all meeting participants, except for the board and staff members speaking for the record, will have their microphones on mute. Once the board has a motion, the second has rendered the decision, the applicant and concerned parties will leave the meeting or will be sent back to what's called the waiting room by staff. Staff will then admit applicants and opposed parties for the next application. All right, first application is 6322. And we have a request for holdover. This is 206 Carmel Drive East. Staff, do we have anyone in the waiting room, either in favor or opposition, that we must hear today?
I have one person in the waiting room who is signed up as, quote, black belt, which needless to say, I do not know who that is. I have sent a message and am waiting to hear back. If you like, what I can do is admit this person and find their application of interest.
Okay, and can the board consider a motion for holdover for this application during the interim, or do we need to wait?
I would wait just in case this person is actually here on this particular application.
Okay.
Margaret, this is Doug. Wasn't this held over last time?
Yes, but the applicant is unable to attend this.
Okay, that's good. Just curious.
No, I understand. Let me see. Okay, quote, black belt is entering into the meeting and they are connecting to audio.
Okay, and which application are they interested?
Carmel Drive.
Okay. And are you in favor or opposition to this application? The applicants requested a holdover until we have our July meeting. Are you in support of the application or are you in opposition?
He fell off.
Okay.
I would move to the next application, Mr. Chairman. Then if I see him back, I'll alert you and we'll move him in.
Okay. Application 6323 has been removed from the agenda since the board adopted the agenda as presented today. So we'll go to the next, which is 6296, 1704, 2153 Grove Court. And this one, they've asked for an extension. Is that correct?
That's correct. And the applicant is here. Hold on, and I will admit her.
Okay, is Ms. Williams?
Ms. Williams, hear us?
Margaret, we have difficulty hearing the applicant.
It says she's connecting to audio.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Williams, can you hear us? Ms. Williams, can you hear us? Mr. Chairman, the application is recommended for approval. It's recommended for approval for 6 months, which is the maximum amount of time an application of approval can be valid for. Bert, in any of your exchanges with Ms. Williams, did she indicate any concerns regarding the recommendation?
No, she did not.
Okay, and has this applicant previously had an extension?
No, this is the first one.
Okay. Any questions of the board? Okay, staff recommends an extension. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. Application 6325, Ranch Towers. This is 3170 Dolphin Street. This one's recommended for approval, subject to the conditions. Is the applicant's rep in the meeting room?
He is here. I'm fixing to, and that's David Wilkins, who is, I'm going to change him. Okay,
Okay, we have no comments, correct?
we received no comments, on this application.
And so therefore, we have no one else in the waiting room to speak either in favor or opposition.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wilkins,
Yes, sir.
have you seen the staff's recommendations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you in agreement with those requirements?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, any questions of the board for the applicant's rep? Okay, then we'll move to deliberation. Chair, entertain a motion,
Move for approval.
subject to staff's recommendation.
Subject to staff recommendations.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Is Mr. Milling the second?
I was.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
the black belt was David Wilkins, so that was not on item number 1, the Carmel Drive. So the board could go ahead and consider that if they'd like.
Okay, let's go back to application 6322, 206 Carmel Drive East. This was requested for a holdover at the applicant's request for the July 6th meeting. And we have no one either in the meeting room for or in opposition. Is that correct, Ms. Pappas?
Yes.
Okay. Chair entertain a motion to hold over.
Move for approval of the hold order, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion to hold over. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Approve for holdover. Okay, we're on to 6326. This is 2012 Jones Avenue.
Okay, I have multiple people that I am admitting now.
Okay. And I'll go over the rules once you tell me you've got everyone in the meeting room.
Okay, it appears that everyone has been admitted. Ms. Hoag, the applicant, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, and then also entered on your behalf is Ms. Binkley.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Thank you. Venett. Vinnett. can you hear us? And then also Ms. Jessica Rocker, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. I could not get a response from the other person.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, everyone that has signed up for this application to speak is now in the meeting.
Okay, and all those that are in the meeting are in support of the application?
Yes, sir, they are.
Okay. Ms. Hoag,
Yes, sir.
good afternoon. I've got to go over some brief rules so that we're consistent with how we manage the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, each person is allowed a maximum of 4 speakers in support of the application and 4 in opposition. As Ms. Pappas has stated, we only have the 4 in support at this time. Each speaker has a maximum of 5 minutes with a 1-minute warning provided after a 4-minute period. And then they should conclude their statement at that time. Once all speakers have been heard in support or in opposition in that order, the applicant is allowed a 2-minute opportunity to review. If there's no one making comments in opposition, then that probably will not be necessary. In order to allow the meeting progress, ensure the meeting can be heard by all watching, the chair will direct the meeting host to mute the microphones of those attending, not addressing the board. All right, so your request of variance to allow 10 children and a non-residential, with a non-residential employee in a daycare in R1. Says the single family residential district zoning ordinance does not allow more than 6 children in a home daycare in R1 single family residential district, and it requires all employees to live at the address. So can you, in your opportunity to speak, tell us how and why the board should consider approving your variance request?
Yes, sir. I'm a family child care provider and I'm licensed for 5 children at the time. And I was licensed for 6 children at one time, but the fire department changed that licensing number. But the reason why I believe I should be granted a group home is because I work with children with different needs, and a lot of those children don't adapt real well to daycare centers. And with that being said, the parents desire that they can stay with me until they actually transition from me and enter into the public school system or Head Start. And at the moment, with 5 children, I have children that has to transition out at 4, and they will have to go back into those centers that they actually left to come to my program. And we just don't know how that outcome may be. But with that being said, I believe that I should be granted 10 children because I have a track record of being in business for over 30 years. I have never had a problem with my neighbors with the 5 children that I'm licensed for right now. The parents come in at different times, and the community really rallies behind me having a home child care in the residential area. Thank you, sir.
Okay, couple questions. You mentioned that the fire department restricted you to 5, not 6. Why did they restrict you?
They changed the international code in 2012, I believe. And with that change, all family child care providers now in the city of Mobile can only be licensed for 5 children.
Okay. And you said you're licensed with the state?
Yes, sir.
And how many are you licensed with the state for?
5.
5, okay. And are all of the children special needs, or is it a certain percentage?
No, sir. it's just, right now, I have one child that he does not talk, and he has turned 4. So now he's gonna have to transition out of my program. And 9 times out of 10, he's gonna end up at a daycare center before he can actually go into the school system. And his mother would have been on, Miss Bennett. I don't know why she couldn't connect, but she would have been able to speak on that behalf.
Okay, well, kind of or ask the question differently. You currently have 5 children, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how many of those are special needs?
I would say 1.
1, okay. All right, that's all my questions. Is there any further questions of the board for Ms. Hogue?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
just to refresh, she has 5 now and she's requesting what?
10.
But I thought the fire department said they can only have 5.
Yes, sir, they did. And I spoke with the fire department before even applying for a variance. And they told me to go through you all, and whatever you all tell me, then that's what it'll be.
Okay, because we don't have the authority to circumvent fire code.
And they,
That's true, Mr.
okay.
Go ahead.
Who was speaking besides Ms. Hogue?
Well, hey, Margaret, is that the case?
You are correct, Mr. Metcalf, in that the Board of Zoning Adjustment cannot render any decision altering the fire code. I cannot speak for the fire department. However, it could be that they are looking at certain licensing credentials, and in order for her to get a license for more than 5 children with the state, she does have to get the Board of Zoning Adjustments approval.
Okay, well, and as we know, the fire department has a tendency to come up with their own rules that are not code. So I just wondered if this was the case.
I would not disparage another city department.
I didn't, that was stating a fact.
All right,
So
All right.
Margaret,
go ahead, Mr. Miller.
kind of following up on that, I mean, if the board was inclined to approve this, we could do it subject to approval by the fire department as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And, you know, just to point out, that would not be anything unusual. It would be required anyway, but that way it gives the applicant a track to follow.
Okay, and it's in the record. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Johnny Burris here.
yes, sir.
She indicated earlier, Mrs. Hogue, that's her name, Ms. Hogue,
Yes,
that the fire department, could she say, was it a local fire chief, or was it
Yes, sir.
someone of prominence? You know, who
The local fire chief told me that I had to, because I contacted them and they told me I had to contact zoning in order to be licensed for what we would call in the childcare sector, a group home. And if you all approved it, then I was to get back in contact with them.
so I guess maybe this clarifies, you're looking at calling it a group home, not a daycare.
No, that's what DHR considers a group home with children more than 6, providers that are licensed for more than 6 children. DHR's definition is a group home for more than 6 children.
Okay, that may be some of the difference here. Okay.
Well, and
Go ahead.
Mr.
But it's still
Chairman,
a daycare.
and Mr. Chairman, frequently the Bureau of Fire Prevention, when they know something may be in conflict with a different section of the city code, they'll advise an applicant to contact them So knowing that only 5 children are allowed in a home-based daycare, more than likely they advised her to get approval from us as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Hogue, how many people work with you to help manage the daycare?
I work by myself with the 5 children, and I have a substitute when I have to go out and take care of business or do anything. But right now, it's just myself.
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions of the board for Ms. Hogue before we proceed to those in favor of her application?
Miss,
Yes.
one quick thing, could Bert, could you put up the vicinity map for me?
I can.
Oh, okay, Marty.
Yeah, and then, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
did I read somewhere that if all the employees must be a resident of the house?
Correct. And that's what part of her application is
Is
that she
it
have
what's
a
here?
non-resident
That-
employee.
Can I address that, please?
Yes.
When I wrote my narrative, I just specified that a qualified adult will work with me, but that qualified adult is actually my husband, and he lives here.
So he's the substitute you referenced?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Metcalf, is this the one you wanted?
Yeah, where exactly is this, as far as geographically? I'm not familiar with it.
Tolmanville.
It's Tolmanville?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I will say this too. I went by this morning and looked at it, and she keeps a very neat and nice. It's a very nice looking residence, nicely well kept. I mean, it looks like a nice operation.
Good.
Yeah, the pictures of the inside look like it's probably one of the nicer maintained daycares I've ever seen.
Mr. Chairman, do you have, or Margaret, do we have those photos that you can display, or are they not scanned?
Not that I'm able to display.
They were attached to Bert's, I think, most recent email. with
Yeah,
comments.
I had trouble with that, but anyway.
Yeah.
I did too.
Okay, Margaret, you said there's some additional individuals that would like to speak to the board.
Yes, sir. The next speaker is Miss Binkley.
Okay,
How y'all doing today?
good afternoon. You'll have to speak up a little bit because we're having a hard time hearing you.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, and you're in support of Ms. Hogue's request, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm supportive of it.
And why do you think we should consider allowing a daycare to expand to 10 from the current 5 and other conditions?
Okay, my son started there when he was 2 years old. And with him being the only child, he had, trouble socializing with other kids. But when he first got there, he was welcome. And he wasn't really talking. So Miss Ho brought that to my attention. And we got his speech together, and she was very concerned about his needs. He had came from a daycare center, so that setting with him be able to move around freely in the home daycare is what I enjoyed and what he loved. He's 8 years old now. He still say he wants to go there, so I do recommend her going up to 10 kids. She has plenty of room and space. And it'll be loving and kind, well fed, and plenty of room to play in the backyard and everything. So I do recommend.
We appreciate those kind words on her behalf. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Any questions of the board? All right, Ms. Pappas?
Miss Binkley, could we have your full name and address, please, for the record?
Yes, ma'am. It's Angelica Finkley,
Mhm.
And my address is 6563 Cynthia Drive, Mobile, Alabama, 36608.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Miss Margaret, I forgot to ask that of the previous applicants.
I can get that. He's a frequent flyer.
Okay, all right.
Um,
We have another speaker on behalf of Ms. Hogan.
yes, and they're on an iPad, their last, Ms. Bennett, and hopefully they'll be able to speak. They're not trying to, I'm asking them to unmute. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, let me try this. I think they had to join again.
Can you remotely unmute somebody?
I'm trying. Ms. Bennett, can you hear us? I'm asking them to.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
All right. If you would, yeah.
Name and address for the record, please.
My address is 67 Lefevre Street, Mobile, Alabama, 36607.
Okay, and you're in favor of Ms. Hoag's request to expand the daycare to 10 children, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
And why are you in support of the application?
Because I have a son that just started like talk. He really wasn't talking well. He's still not, but he's taking speech. And um, since my son's been going to her for like 2 years now, he have been doing more talking than what he used to. And I have a newborn now that I would love for her to go there, but because they don't have the room for her, I would have to probably quit my job to take care of her because I don't trust any of daycare because of what happened in the past to my son.
Okay. Any questions of the board for Ms. Bennett?
No, sir.
Okay, well, thank you for speaking on behalf of Ms. Hoag. All right, we have one other individual, Ms. Pappas.
Yes, that's Miss Jessica Rocker.
Ms. Rocker, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Jessica Rocker, Rockeer, and my address is 2011 Jones Avenue.
And you're in support of Ms. Hoag's request to expand the daycare to 10 children?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And you want to tell us why we ought to consider that?
Well, in my considerations, I actually stay across the street from the daycare, so I actually see a lot of the activity that goes on at the daycare. And I actually just recently became a new mom in 2018. And whenever I did, have the baby, I wanted to have him going to that daycare. But for some reason, I was never able to get him over there because she already had the full capacity of kids. And I just thought it would be more convenient having him across the street at a home daycare.
Okay, and how long have you lived in that area?
Well, not long. I would say maybe like 4 or 5 years now.
Okay,
But
and
I
you're
just
not,
recently had the baby.
right, you're not aware of any problems or any complaints that's all
No,
been.
I haven't heard about any issues, and I actually hear a lot of good things about the daycare. That's why I kind of wanted him to get over there, but I was unable to get him over there because of the capacity that she could have. But I actually kind of see the parents that come pick them up, and they wear uniforms over there. And I kind of liked it, the fact that they wore uniforms, and they just like the people earlier said that it looks kind of nice, it looks clean over there, and it's just different with the home daycare and the actual daycare where more than it's a lot more kids than just 5 or 10.
Okay. Any questions of the board for Ms. Rocker? All right, Ms. Pappas, is that all
That's all that have signed up, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we have no one in opposition to this application today, correct?
No record of opposition was received.
Okay, Ms. Hogue, one last question.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been in this area again, at this location?
For 16 years.
16 years. And
Yes, sir.
and sounds like you've got nothing but positive comments and feedback from all your clients. And you were at you were at a different location previously, correct?
Yes, sir. Right around the corner on Donald Street. And I was there for about 14 years.
How many children did you take care of then?
When I was on Donald Street, I was licensed for 6.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have. Any other questions of the board for the applicant? Well, I think Mr. Metcalf brought up the key point is whether we have the authority or our decision today determines exactly how many children you're able to bring in. But for the variance, I think we do have that authority. So I'll open up the floor for a motion, either in support or in opposition to the variance request.
Mr. Chairman, I enthusiastically move for approval.
Okay, and with the condition compliance with codes and ordinances of the city, which will address the fire code.
That's right. Yeah, because that'll be part of it anyway. So yes.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
And who was the second? Mr. Davis?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Any further comment? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Good luck to you, Ms. Hogue.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
We
Thank you all.
We
Good
thank you
luck.
for your service.
Thanks.
All right, we're on application 6, which is 3600 Spring Hill Memorial Drive, and the applicant has requested a holdover. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is. They had asked to participate in the meeting, but they're not here.
Okay, do we have anyone either in favor or opposition in the meeting room?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, the applicants requested a holdover, which will take this to the July meeting. And I believe there were several pictures and things of that nature that were sent to the board for review, but all that can be considered next time. So with that said, the chair will entertain a motion to hold it over.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Hey, this is Jeremy. Quick question. Margaret, in their file, were there pictures of what type of fence they were proposing? Like what it looked like?
Art, do you recall?
I think there were. Let me see if I can find it. If you hold on one moment.
I remember pictures of the facility under construction. I don't remember showing the actual fence.
Now that's actually correct. They didn't show the actual fence with the application. So it's going to be a metal picket fence, I believe.
We could ask for drawings.
I just unsure what a metal picket fence looked like.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Doug. I agree with Jeremy. We need a drawing. I'm not sure it's going to do any good. I think they need to send y'all pictures of the actual product so we can see what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Margaret, I happened to speak with the applicant, and it was my understanding that they were going to extend to hold over to next month.
Yes, that's what we were discussing.
Sorry, I had to step away real quick.
Yes.
So can you request before the next meeting, Margaret, that they submit photos and any renderings or drawings?
We'll put that in the letter following up for follow-up on this meeting.
Okay, that is, the board should approve a holdover. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, the applicants request a holdover till next month, and we'll request some additional information. Chair, entertain a motion holdover.
Hey, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I will share one thing with the board that the applicant told me, which they'll elaborate next month, I'm sure. But just this past week, they got a call from somebody during the day, during construction, that somebody was in the portalet, and they opened the portalet and somebody was shooting up drugs inside the portalet.
Yeah.
I thought I'd let you know it's pretty serious stuff over there.
Yeah, they said that the crime and some of the other issues were pretty serious.
Yeah. Anyway, with that, I move for a holdover.
Okay, I have motion holdover. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, that was Mr. Burrows. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that concludes our agenda for today. Mr. Anderson, anything we need to be aware of?
Yeah, here I am. I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute. There was a lawsuit, an appeal filed 2 weeks ago on the Michael Donald Drive application for appeal of the staff decision. Casey Pipes, on behalf of the two individuals that filed the appeal, have now appealed it to circuit court.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that- Yeah.
Hey, Doug, was that
Yep.
from the applicant?
Yes.
I thought-
No, not the applicant, the people that appealed to you, and we denied the appeal, the lady and the gentleman who filed the appeal to y'all also appealed it to city council, circuit court.
Doug, did anything come about? I had never heard back from the chief.
No, I haven't either. I'll follow up on that and find out.
I talked to the chief that afternoon, and he said he was just made aware of it, and he was going to follow up and send some investigators to see if they thought that threat was credible at all. And I hadn't heard back from Jimmy.
I'll get Ricardo to talk to the chief at the council meeting in the morning.
Great.
All right, thank you. Any other business, Mr. Anderson?
No, sir, that's it from me.
Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting? Second.
Adjourn.
All right,